Welcome, Cher. So nice of you to be here today.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, tell me a little bit about your dance through life. Who is Sher Downing?
Who is Sher Downing? So I have always been an outside of the box kind of person. Even when I was a little kid, I was just always outside the box. Always been kind of a weird little kid, strange, risk taker, thoroughly embrace risk taking with some critical thinking mixed in there. There's an artistic side to me. I love to draw. I love to paint, play music and such. But am a, 80s kid. So knew enough about you need to have a real career, need to have a real job. So, it's one of those things where you balance out where you can have the things that you enjoy and yet you know what you need to do. And so the result of that, by good fortune to me, is that I was kind of in the right place at the right time in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sounds like we have that in common, actually, the background and the music and the arts, but yet, being instructed that you need to have something that will support yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So in terms of the content that we're talking about today, what is it that we're promoting for you today?
So a couple of things that we're doing is new LinkedIn newsletter. Very excited about that. We've been doing a newsletter for a long time, and we really wanted to embrace more of the trends and things that are going on and really provide people with assistance and resources, because the pandemic, as you know, really had a huge impact. And for everyone who previously did not embrace technology, it was baptism by fire. Everything had to be done that way. So as part of that and providing those resources is also then the issue of people who are transitioning careers and people who are deciding what they did before maybe isn't fitting. Maybe they've gotten an opportunity to get, out of a contract, or they're just thinking, I've always wanted to go do something else, and now I'm going to go do it. So in addition to those resources, we're looking at what I term holistic project management, which is not just working with you about your project, but working with you about coaching your team members, coaching your individuals, or helping individuals and coaching them one-on-one and helping them to start their own business, do entrepreneurial things like you and I do. And so it's really an exciting time right now.
Mm-hmm. So all of these resources, the LinkedIn newsletter and the services that you're providing to, people who are maybe looking to transition or move into that encore career, or just level up in terms of their ed tech abilities, what did you have to overcome to create and share this content with the world?
So I'm a first generation college student. And so way back when, college was a lot more selective then. A lot of people didn't go to college, didn't have the means to go to college, didn't have the opportunity. So I was fortunate enough to go to college, but I realized early on that I was behind the curveball. I was with people who had siblings, parents that had gone to college. So, that was kind of the first hurdle of understanding that there's a whole group of people out there that don't always get access to everything that they need. Mm-hmm. And so moving forward in that, then, being a risk taker, being a really laser focused individual on something that I love. So if there's a passion for it, I am all in it. I'm all about it. Mm-hmm. But I was one of those kids that if there's not a passion for it, really didn't show up to the table. There was just like no happy medium for me. It was all or nothing. But got into the workforce and figured out there was a lot of us. And part of the reason we don't show up to the table is because nobody's talked to us in the right way. Nobody's provided the resources to get us where we need to be. Mm-hmm. So, that led me into higher ed. In a career in higher ed led me, fortunately, into technology and the birth of real true online learning back in the 90s. And then I made a career out of working on that academic side and dealing with all of that. So, bringing those things all together, I just started to realize the haves and have-nots and what do we need to provide for them. And at the same time, seeing the struggle that higher ed and even companies were having in producing product online, because they couldn't understand how to make it work. They couldn't understand what the learner needed to have, again, in order to have that knowledge or not have it. that exposure to the resources in the education. So I really kind of have come full circle in this, from where I started to now understanding where everyone else is starting and trying to help them and move them forward to be successful and have quality products and have a real opportunity for anyone to have a level playing field for learning.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So having this level playing field for learning really sounds like that's part of why this content is important for people.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You think about it and you think formal education and that's it. But now we live in a world of micro learning, instant training. You've got employers saying, watch this video, go through this quiz. You need to show us that you've completed diversity training. All of these things are now coming at you forward. And so you have to know how to navigate the systems. You have to understand how to take in that content. You have to understand how to get represented at the table that you've done these things. The example I always use for people is, if you really dislike using a video conferencing system, think about if you got hired for a job and you were interviewing, and the only difference between you and someone else was that they had experience in a video conferencing system and could run a team half a world away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, suddenly, video conferencing becomes very important to you because it's the difference between you getting a job and not getting a job. So It's also understanding what's the value in online learning, what's the value in the skill set. And so it gets really exciting to think about how we open up those doors for employers, for the workforce, for the learner, whether it's traditional education, non-traditional education, training, coaching, all of those things just come together.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So being able to open doors for all of these different stakeholder groups sounds like it's one of the reasons why the content that you've created is so important.
Absolutely. We're constantly looking at the trends. We're constantly fleshing out what it is that's being needed. And that's why right now we're doing a big focus on transitioning, because we're seeing those people that are leaving one industry and moving to another. We're seeing people that are just hungry for resources. I have a problem in my business. Where do I go to find a solution? Who's offering a product? Apps are so valuable right now on phones. I mean, we all live by apps, but if you don't know how to find one, if you don't know how to search for one, if you don't know what you're looking for and how to match it up to what you currently already own as a system, it can be very, consuming, and it can also be very costly. So, working with vendors, helping you find vendors, all of those kinds of things, we just feel like that's the thing that we need to be doing and helping everyone just move forward.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So in terms of the services that you're providing through your organization, what do you have? What are you offering for people?
So we have several different things that we do. We work with companies, we work with higher ed institutions, we help them with digital transformation. So that can be simply, designing online courses. That can be helping train their faculty to teach online. That can be even just the strategy of putting together online programs. What's it going to take us? What's going to be, the budget, the margin for revenue, all of those kinds of things. We have a team of really experienced people that can help you just really lay out that vision and get it down to practical numbers and practical timelines. Mm-hmm. We do coaching. So if you want us to come in and work with a team or work with an individual, we can do that to help them not only navigate moving that transitional material over, but also navigating how to deal with the people involved in doing that. That can be on the IT side, that can be, in HR, healthcare. We do it with a variety of different types of companies and schools. And then sometimes we just work with people one-on-one in coaching or in small groups who just say, I'm ready to go do something different. I want to figure out how to make this work. The question I got asked the other day was, how do I take an idea and make a living out of it? And I think that really is about as simplistic as you can say it, because we've all been there. We've all thought that I've got this idea. How do I make a living off of it? So, we help them plot out and figure out what they're doing and where they're going. Or if they're going after a job in an industry, how do they change from looking like an academic to looking like an industry expert? How did they showcase differently? You know very well that we look very different in academia. We pride ourselves on much different things than the industry does. Yes. And so we struggle to sell ourselves on the other side, just as they struggle to come in and teach, because we have a certain way we look at things. So we help people figure out and navigate that water as well.
So it really sounds like you're in this space of interpreting and translating for, different people if they want to make a shift into a different industry or a different niche, and how to reposition themselves. So if they have ideas about what they want to do going forward and they're trying to figure out the best way to do that, how can they get in touch with you?
So the easiest way is to go to our website, which is www.downingedtech.com, and fill out our contact form. And we will reach out to them with a free consult. So, we want to talk to them and make sure we're a good fit. We also will refer to others if we feel like we're not exactly what they need. We want to make sure that the relationship is there, because that's really what we do. We guide relationships. We guide relationships between companies, between us, between vendors. All of these things come down to, can you work with people? Can you enjoy the experience? And can you learn and grow from it? So if we're not your right fit, we're going to help you find who is. So filling out that contact form brings you to us and gets your process started.
Okay, great. So it sounds like they can reach you online at your website, and they can also call you directly. Yes. What else would you like to share about the services that you're offering and helping people connect and grow and evolve into the next chapter in their lives?
So I think the biggest thing that I can offer to them is I've been in their shoes. 35 years in higher ed is a pretty lucrative career on the higher ed side, smattering in there of corporate training positions and also some other additional roles and work in consulting. But leaving all of that and going to a full-time, ownership of a business and founding a business is a big hurdle. And there's a lot of questions that you have about doing that. There's a lot of questions, not just from the organizational business side. There's a lot of personal questions about, can I make this successful? Can I do things? You have a whole new identity in this role. And so that's something that I definitely bring to them. Many members on my team have worked in multiple corporations, Fortune 500 companies, different organizations, and we work globally. So we have clients all over the world. And one of the things that, we consistently hear about is the relationship that they form with us, that we understand where they're coming from and the comfort level in helping them transition. Nothing sounds crazy to us. Nothing sounds like, oh, that's silly, get over that. No, we know what it's like, and we want to help them move it forward.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like for people who are out there and listening, if you have an idea about how you'd like to move forward and you're looking for the right partner to help you do that, Sher and her team stand ready to support you. So Sher Downing creates strategic partnerships between people, technology, and innovation. Noted as a distinguished value giver, she assists individuals and businesses through the creation of multi-use options for online products, coaching to grow and maintain new online initiatives, and support in planning for futuristic trends. She is also the host of the podcast EdTech Speaks, designed to showcase tools, technology, and people in new and unexpected ways. We're so glad to have had you here today, Sher. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I so appreciate it.